Imagine this scene: a sunny Sabbath day, a sacred day of rest. Jesus' disciples, hungry, pick heads of grain and eat them. A simple action, but for the guardians of the law, the Pharisees, it was a direct affront, an unacceptable breach of millennial rules. Tension filled the air. The fear of transgression was palpable. Why are you doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath? The question, laden with censure, echoed, challenging the authority of Jesus and his followers. It was a trap, a test to see how far he would dare to go. The scarcity of tolerance and the rigidity of the law were the protagonists. But Jesus, with a disarming calm, responded with wisdom and authority. He reminded them of David, who in his hunger ate the consecrated bread, something only permitted to priests, a rule broken, justified by human need. Curiosity about his interpretation was immense. He concluded with a powerful declaration that shocked them. The Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. A bold statement, placing his own authority above their most sacred tradition. The urgency to understand who he truly was became evident. On another Sabbath, Jesus entered the synagogue to teach. Among the crowd, a man with a withered right hand waited. Pharisees and scribes watched with keen eyes, hoping for a chance to accuse him. The fear of controversy hung in the air. They questioned him. Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? The question was a clear provocation, for they knew Jesus' compassion would compel him to act. The scarcity of their own compassion was masked by the rigidity of the law. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, called the man with the withered hand to the center, exposing the situation before everyone. A daring move that forced everyone to confront the choice between law and life. The curiosity of what he would do was palpable. I ask you, which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do good or to do evil? To save life or to destroy it? The authority of his voice confronted their hypocrisy. They fell silent, unable to answer such a fundamental and direct question. Then he said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." The man, with faith and hope, stretched out his hand. And it was restored as good as the other. A visible miracle, an undeniable testimony of his power. The urgency of the healing was instantaneous, a direct challenge to their authority. But the reaction of the religious leaders was not admiration, but blind fury. They were filled with rage and began to discuss among themselves what they might do to Jesus. The fear of losing control, of their authority being challenged, drove them to vengeance. Jesus, perceiving their plot and the intent of his enemies, withdrew to a mountain to pray. He spent the entire night in intimate communion with God, seeking direction for the next crucial stage of his mission. The scarcity of time for important decisions necessitated this pause. At dawn he called his disciples, and from among them chose 12, whom he also named apostles. They were not figures of power or influence, but ordinary men, fishermen, a tax collector, zealots, a choice that defied all social expectations. Simon, whom he named Peter, Andrew, his brother, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, son of Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, Judas, son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became the traitor. Each name, a story, each one, a gamble of faith. Curiosity about their future was immense. This choice of 12, a symbolic number for the tribes of Israel, represented the beginning of a new community, a new people. Jesus' authority to form this group was unquestionable, his purpose revolutionary. The urgency to build his kingdom began there. Coming down from the mountain with them, Jesus stopped on a level place where a large crowd awaited him. People from all over Judea, Jerusalem, and even the coastal regions of Tyre and Sidon came to hear him and to be cured of their diseases. The scarcity of such a teacher was the main attraction. Those troubled by impure spirits were also healed. Everyone tried to touch him, because power was coming from him and healing them all. Simple faith and the urgency to experience his power were in the eyes of every person present. The fear of illness was overcome by hope. Then Jesus looked up at his disciples and began to teach, not only those 12, but the vast crowd. His words were a complete inversion of the world's values, a direct challenge to everything they knew and treasured, an authority that exuded a new truth. Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. a shocking declaration. For poverty was seen as a curse. Jesus inverted logic, pointing to material scarcity as a gateway to untold spiritual wealth. Curiosity about this new kingdom was great. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you will be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. A promise of justice and comfort for the marginalized and oppressed. The urgency to find this satisfaction and joy was palpable. Blessed are you when people hate you, when they exclude you and insult you and reject your name as evil, because of the Son of Man. A prophecy that mixed blessing and persecution, demanding courage to follow his path. The fear of rejection was real, but the promise of greater reward was a balm. But woe to you who are rich, for you have already received your comfort. Woe to you who are well fed now, for you will go hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, for you will mourn and weep. A severe warning that instilled fear and urgency to reassess their priorities. The scarcity of true happiness was the focus. Woe to you when everyone speaks well of you, for that is how their ancestors treated the false prophets. He challenged the pursuit of popularity, pointing to the true authority that lies in faithfulness to truth, even if it costs social acceptance. Curiosity about the truth intensified. But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. A radical teaching that broke the cycle of vengeance and hatred, demanding a profound transformation of the heart. The urgency to practice love was a new commandment. Someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also. If someone takes your coat, do not withhold your shirt from them. An ethics of non-resistance to evil, which challenged human nature and the logic of earthly justice. The fear of vulnerability was confronted by faith. Give to everyone who asks you, and if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. Limitless generosity that went beyond mere altruism, showing a scarcity of attachment to material possessions. Curiosity about this new way of living was immense. Do to others as you would have them do to you, the golden rule, simple and powerful, the summary of all law and prophets, the basis for just and peaceful human coexistence. The authority of this rule was universal. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. He challenged the superficiality of conditional love, calling them to a higher form of love. The urgency to love unconditionally was present. And if you lend to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners, expecting to be repaid in full. Once again he raised the bar, demanding a generosity that seeks no return. The scarcity of such detachment was a reality. But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, because he is kind to the ungrateful and wicked. A promise that inspires overcoming fear and seeking an eternal reward. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. The authority of his words invited a life of compassion and forgiveness. Breaking the cycle of judgment, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. A spiritual law of reciprocity that encouraged generosity with urgency and faith. Curiosity about the results of this practice was piqued. Can the blind lead the blind? Will they not both fall into a pit? The student is not above the teacher, but everyone who is fully trained will be like their teacher. The importance of following the right teacher, of having true authority as a guide. The world was about to witness a new era, and the choice was imminent.